Hey guys, welcome back. We have been doing a couple of weeks on spas and how to talk to them. I'm in Texas right now. This is Lucas. Lucas, I love you. He's so cute. We're babysitting this week because Danny and Ashley, our son and his wife, are on their anniversary trip. So we are here babysitting the kids. We're having a great time. But we've been talking about spas. So the first week we talked about how to get past the gatekeeper. And so if you want to see those, go look at past Facebook Lives. We talked about how to present to them. I know I still need to get you guys the PowerPoint video or the PowerPoint that you can use when you're talking to these people. And my employees are going to be posting that as soon as that is ready. So don't give up on us. We'll get that out for you. In the meantime, we have all the information that you need on how to, like basically the feel, what you need to do, how to talk to them about the business. Instead of talking about it like a network marketing company, do you just use normal business terminology? And then the second week we talked about, which was I think a week ago from today, we talked about how to handle more of that information about signing them up and some different ways you can do that. So excited to see you guys on here. I'm seeing, hello. I'm seeing some of the people that I recognize. Welcome back, you guys. Glad you're here. So today, what we're going to talk about is exactly how you teach the staff. Because one of the things I told you last week is that you tell the spa director or the person who makes those decisions, you tell them one of the things we do is we offer free trainings. And we come in, now notice, remember how I said, you can say we come in once a month, but maybe they don't want once a month. So I always give a few different options. Every time I give them a solution, I throw out 2 to 3 different options so that it sounds something like this. Instead of saying, so we come in every month and train your staff, they might be going, we don't have time for that. So I say, we come in regularly to train your staff. Depending on the spa and what works best for them, we can come once a month, we come once a quarter, we come once a week, whatever works until you have people trained the way that you want. So notice that that's what we're always going to do is give them, whenever we're throwing out a solution, we give 2 to 3 different options that are all over the place. But I don't just say, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do, I don't act like that, because what we want is we want them to feel like I know exactly what I'm doing and I will help you. Because guess what? Even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, by the time you get to their spot, you're going to know exactly what you're doing because you're going to be ready. So I'll say when we work with, like notice how I said, because we can do it whatever works best for you. With some spas, we do it every month. With some spas, they want us once a quarter. They don't have time for more than that. With some, when we're first starting, they want us to do it every week. So see how I throw it out, leaving it completely open. You guys, that's 4 times a year or 52 times a year. That's huge. And usually they don't want you coming every week forever. You're not going to do that forever. You'll do that just for a little while at the beginning. So now we're to, okay, what do I do when I do come back to train the staff? And I've told them I'm going to train the staff. And if you didn't watch the previous ones, go watch them because I give you a lot of information about some things that you can say, ways that you can help them feel like they know exactly what they're doing. So what you want the spa director, whoever's in charge, to feel like is by the time you're done with them is, dude, we come in, we train your staff, they'll know exactly what to do. So that we have to keep it feeling simple. It's not like I'm going to come in, train some crazy thing, and they now have 25 steps that they have to do every time they talk to a customer or a client or whatever. What's going to happen is the very first day when I come in for training, we set it up and I want to train the entire staff. Now, it's unlikely that they can have everybody do it at the same time unless they're a pretty small spa. If they're a small spa, then sometimes they can do it right after work and everybody just stays a little bit longer. Or a lot of times it's easier to have 2 separate sessions. So what I like to do, in a perfect world, but realize you can adjust this based on the spa and what their needs are, because I've done it all different ways. But let's say in a perfect world, I would come in, let's say I'm flying into Tennessee because I'm going to work with a spa. I'm going to come train their staff for the first time. Number 1, anything you can do to make them feel special before you come is huge. So if you send, you guys, you can send a little package with 5 little tiny sample bottles for each person that's going to be at the class so they can be using them ahead of time with a couple of different recipes. And maybe a cute little card. You don't have to do this. I'll tell you what, most of the time I don't, because I haven't taken the time. But if you can, anything you can do to make them love you before you even walk in the door, that's huge. But the truth is, most of the time, I don't do this. So I'm just throwing out different ideas that you can do. There's sometimes when I do little special things. The fancier the spa, the more they need to have things that make them feel special. Even if it's just little things that may or may not cost you either very little or nothing, okay? So, and it does, it doesn't cost anything to be kind, and this is what we learned at our last convention. There are a lot of things you can do that don't cost anything. So I've set it up so that we are going to learn about essential oils for the first session of the training. Now, I tell them that we need an hour, and I can do a half-day training if that's what they want. Whatever they want. You guys, we have a lot of information on essential oils, and you know how when you're teaching people in a normal class, let's say you're having a class in your home, you don't want to over inundate people with too much information, and that's perfect. But in a setting like this, where you've got experts who are massage therapists, you've got estheticians, they're going to want to know a little more detail about how to use this with their customers, with their clients, okay? So what I prefer is to come in, do a 1-hour class, and it's really just the Essential Oils 101. It's basic class on essential oils. The biggest difference between this class and the one that I would do in my home, because now we do the more easy, the simple, super fun essential oils class. You guys, I would do the exact same thing. Do the exact same fun, easy, simple class, except I would spend a little more time on the quality of the oils. Spend a little bit more time and go ahead and use a few scientific terms. You can, in this situation, I would absolutely talk about the gas chromatograph, the mass spectrometry, if you know this information. If you don't know it, you don't have to talk about it. It's okay. Just say it's quality tested. You don't have to know tons of stuff. But if you know a little bit more of some of the science behind it, don't go crazy here. But enough that by the time you're done talking about the quality, they're going, oh my goodness, these are totally different than any other oil. And by the way, if you don't even know any of the names of any of the tests that doTERRA does, you can sound credible and you can totally share the quality, make it sound amazing. So basically, you are doing a basic 101 essential oils class. Don't call it that, but tell them we're going to talk about essential oils. Now, keep in mind that in every step along this process, as you're working with everyone, from the gatekeeper to the spa director to the staff that you are training, normally I'll tell you what your attitude needs to be. Your attitude needs to be like they are peers. Everyone is our peer, of course. But when I come to an essential oil class that I'm teaching in someone's home, they're touting me as the expert. So I come in and I'm the expert, and they talk about how I'm invited to speak all over the world on essential oils. And when I train in the class, I teach like I'm teaching you something new. Like the 3 things you're going to want to know about these essential oils. They're amazing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to teach as if I'm giving them new information. When I teach in the spas or places where people have a degree in something, I do this if I'm doing it with doctors. It doesn't matter who I'm teaching. If I'm teaching a group who have degrees that they want to use their essential oils to incorporate with whatever they do for their practice or for their profession, then I treat it, I still am the teacher. I'm still giving them new information, but I treat it like, you guys know this stuff. I don't keep saying that. I don't keep acting like that. If they knew it all, I wouldn't be there, right? But I treat it more like, not like, okay, you guys, let me teach you this information. I treat it more like, you guys, when you went to school, you learned about incorporating some natural things. Some of you may know a ton about essential oils already. Some of you, you obviously know about them. You may not have incorporated them yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm just going to kind of go through knowing that you guys already have an education on these things. And then I might even ask, so how many of you in your schooling spent time on essential oils? So notice how my attitude is more, dude, we're peers. And so, I get it that you kind of already know this stuff, but let me know where we're starting from, and then we'll go from there. I'm giving them the respect that they deserve because they've already gone through a lot of schooling. And by the way, a lot of times I've had people who are massage therapists. I'm trying to teach them the aroma touch technique. And if your attitude isn't right and doesn't give them enough respect for what they know, then this is what happens. You start getting an attitude like, what, you don't even have a degree and you're trying to teach me a massage technique when really the aroma touch is not a massage technique. It's an application method. So it's totally legal for us to do that, but you start having these people feel like you're cutting into their territory and you're not giving them the credit they deserve when they have more schooling than you in some areas. You need to treat them with respect and act like it. Act like you honor that. So you guys know me, those of you who've heard me teach, I get all sassy. I'm like, you guys, we've got to do this and da-da-da. You want your customers to feel this way. You want your clients to feel like they are being treated special. So I still get all kind of in their face a little bit and my personality comes out. But I still am honoring the fact that they know more than I do about some things, and I'll even say that sometimes, not 100 times. If you say that 10 times throughout the whole class, you guys know more than I do about this. All of a sudden, you're taking away your own credibility. I don't say that. I say, I'll teach about something, and I'll say, and some of you guys will probably know a lot more about these kinds of tests because you will have learned it in your schooling. But notice, I'm not acting like I assume all of them know, and I'm not acting like I assume they don't know. I'm just teaching. I'm the teacher. I need to get certain information to them today. Okay, so make sure that's your attitude. Now, as you teach the class, you do the basic, simple, super fun, easy class that I've been teaching people how to do lately. And for those of you who've done the one sample away challenge, you'll know I taught you exactly how to do that. You had that information. It's also in my fast track training that you can use as well. So totally teach that class, except instead of where in a home class, I'm going to be talking about the little kids who have irritation in their ears. I'm going to be talking about the little kids who got bit by a bug. I'm going to be talking about the kinds of accidents or the kinds of health challenges that they're dealing with in the home. But when I'm in this setting, guess what? Almost all of my health challenges are going to be around. They're going to be around what most of their customers are probably dealing with, what most of their clients are dealing with. And by the way, you need to find out if it matters to them, if they call them customers or clients or patients, because it depends. If you're working with a clinic, and I'll tell you what, that can be offensive to them. Because if it's a patient and you call them clients, they kind of might not love that. So you need to find out, like when I'm sitting with the spa director at the beginning before I even get to this point, I'm saying when I'm working with different spas or clinics, when we're talking about their customers, their clients, and then I'll say, so like here, what do you guys call them? Do you call them clients? Do you call them customers? And then they'll tell me. And now I know. And do you think that's in my notes so that when I come back, you bet it is. It's totally in my notes so that I make sure that I'm reviewing that before I come in. And honestly, you guys, I'm not spending a ton of time. Let me qualify that. I'm not spending a ton of time prepping for a basic one-on-one class. 101 class, if I'm not brand new. You guys, those of you who've been teaching the 101 class for a long time, don't spend hours freaking out about this. Just decide what health challenges you're going to name instead of irritation in the ears, for example. So I'm going to be talking a lot about joints, irritation in the joints, and people who are exhausted or don't have energy, or the kinds of things that people tell their massage therapist, or the kinds of things that people tell their estheticians when they come in, okay? Think about the kinds of things they're hearing about. Because what does the massage therapist want to do? What does the esthetician want to do? They want to create solutions for the person who comes in to see them to get solutions. So even if somebody's just coming in to get their nails done, what's a worry that everyone has? They're worried about getting fungus on their nails. They're worried about the instruments being clean. They might be having a stressful day. They might be feeling anxious that day. They might be feeling worn out. Who knows? So what I do is I teach, and I'll get to that in just a second. So we teach the 101 basic class, and always, no, even though you're trying to always talk about the things that their customers might be feeling, I still always add in a few things that they're dealing with in their homes and in their families, even if it doesn't relate to a spa. Because they're going to want to know all of that, and what you want is you want them to feel like, oh my goodness, I want this in my home. Because if they're using it in their home and learn to love it, what's going to happen when their patients or their clients come in? Their clients are going to, like, if I love it and use it in my home, what do you think is going to happen if I was a massage therapist and my people come in to see me, to find solutions to their their irritation in their back, or they're, recovering from a surgery or whatever. I'm going to be going, oh my goodness, there are some amazing things. We're going to customize your experience, and there are some amazing things you can choose from. Let me tell you about this, okay? That's what I'm going to do if I love the oils and I really understand them. So a lot of people get excited because they think, oh, spa. I have a lot of spas on my team that are in Las Vegas and big, huge name spas. And one of my leaders, Brianne Hovey, she worked with spas before she was in dōTERRA. She worked with the high-end spas, and her job was to make sure that they had the highest end products that were the best for people in New York, in California, in some of the biggest places in this country. And for those of you who are in different countries, it's exciting to have those big name spas on your team. But you want to know what? They do not stabilize your business, and they are not what's going to give you residual income. They're exciting and they're fun. They're super fun to work with. But you want to know the value of the spa? The value of the spa is that you just got a free class with all of their staff. That is the value of what you have just done. Because you just got a whole group of people. If the spa is going to use them, then number one, they need to use them. Second of all, guess what's happening? They are basically dictated that they have to sit and listen to you about essential oils. By the time you're done, you better be good enough that they are so excited about the oils after your 101 class. So you finish the 101 class, and you're throwing out little samples in the class, making it fun the way we do in the new class that we've been teaching you how to do. And so then after that class, we split people up. Now, if we have to split people up before that because they have to have some people working while some of the staff is in our class, great. But this is what's going to happen. After the 101 class, then we will have, let's say the massage therapists go to work, and we're working now with just the estheticians. So we have a special class now for just the estheticians. It's usually about an hour. Now, if they give us a half day, they love that. They feel like, wow, my staff is getting a full half day of training. And depending on some of you have certifications that you can make this a CE course for them that counts. There are ways you can do that, so definitely look into it. And there are ways that you can get permission from the CE in your state or in your area, depending on, like I have certification not only for AromaTouch, but to certify other people for AromaTouch. So there are certain things I can do that could be counted as CE if I set it up right. So that's a great option to look into. It might be a little more time consuming, okay? And can you imagine if you go to the spa and say, we're going to be with you for 4 hours, 2 hours of it is going to be counted toward your continuing education. That's huge, you guys. They love it. Okay, by the time I'm done with that first class that's teaching about the essential oils, everybody in the room wants them. Just like when you teach a class in your home. When you guys get good at doing it in your home, what happens? Everybody wants them. Some people might be worried about money, but everybody wants them, right? So then when we split into groups, now what we're going to do is we're going to teach the massage therapists how, when they pick up their client, let's say they go out and get their client, they bring them into the room and say, we have something really exciting that we've added, and it's a way that we want to customize the experience for you. Now, this is what I'm teaching the massage therapist how to do. Now, remember, right at the beginning, I'm like, you guys, you do not want to be selling. That is not your job. You want to be creating solutions, helping these people. That's what you're here for. And a lot of times the spa needs to sell a certain amount in their store, so they want you to encourage that. Well, guess what? That is every place that we teach massage therapists, and this is what I'm telling the massage therapists, every place we teach the massage therapists, that is usually their least favorite thing to do. They might have competitions, and whoever has the most sales in a month, they get a special gift or whatever. Some people love that, some people don't. But by the time we're done with today, you guys are going to be so excited because you are going to know exactly how to talk to your clients or your customers so that you did not sell them, you just took care of them. And they're going to walk out that door wanting to purchase the items they need because of the way we're going to show you how to do it without you being pushy or salesy, and then you just get to turn them over to the person in charge of the store. And so they usually get kind of excited, and I tell them how it's going to be simple, it's going to be easy, and we're going to do some role play so that you can practice it, whatever, okay? So now what we're going to teach them is basically this, that when the client comes in, I'll pretend like I'm the massage therapist, they come in, I say, what's the first thing that you ask them? almost always. And the massage therapists usually know. Sometimes in the other classes, they're like, oh, what do we usually say? But the massage therapists almost always are like, we ask them, how are you feeling? What's going on? And so as soon as the person responds, you're going to know exactly what their needs are. So we're going to give you a book like this, and I show them the essential oil book. We're going to give you a book like this. You will have this at your station, and we're going to have essential oils in the back bar for you that you can use. And I'm going to teach you about the different essential oils that are good for some of these different health challenges that these people will come in with, some of the ones that you deal with the most. So first of all, what I want to do is have you guys tell me what are the health challenges that you hear the most, or the struggles. Because sometimes it might not be a health challenge. It might be, I'm just so exhausted, whatever, or I don't have time for me or something. So I said, let's list the different things that you guys deal with all the time. So we make a big list on the board, and by the time I'm done, I've covered everything on that list, and we talk about at least 4 or 5 different oils that are good for each of those things. I say, okay, so now you know what essential oils are going to be a powerful support for that. So now let me teach you what to do when they come in. When they come in, you're going to ask them how they are. When they tell you, look, now you know, and I point to the board, now you know exactly what different options you have. And at first you won't know them off the top of your head because you're just learning these, but you look it up in the book. And in fact, you want to look it up in the book even if you have them all memorized, because what you want your client to feel like is, this is easy. All I have to do is look it up and I can use it myself. So when they say, I'm so exhausted, you're going to open, when you get them in there, you're going to say, we have something special that we use to customize your experience here at the spa. So not only are we going to do the treatment that you've scheduled that you want to do, but we're going to add in a couple of really fun things. And so then we have them look up in the book. Let's say it's irritation in the joints, whatever. You look it up and you say, these are the essential oils that are really phenomenal. And the first one listed is the best option, and on down. Now, let me let you smell those and you tell me which one you want to choose. And so I'll have those, let's say as a massage therapist, I'm going to have all 3 or 4 or 5 of those out. They get to open up the lid and smell it. And then after they've smelled it, they'll say, oh, that deep blue, I really want the deep blue. Or they might say, well, you said the deep blue is the best one, but this one, the wintergreen, smells awesome. Can I have a little bit of both? And you're like, you know what? Totally. We'll totally do that. Okay, so we're going to do your Swedish massage or whatever it was that you wanted, and I'm going to add this. And so after they're done choosing, you guys, it takes like a minute. And then when they get on the table and you're ready to start working, as you start working, say, I'm just going to spend a couple minutes telling you a little bit about these oils and why we're using them. And whatever else you're doing in the massage. If it's a Swedish massage, let me tell you why this is going to help your muscles. So you spend 1 minute, no longer than a minute, and just kind of go do an overview of some different information. And then what happens is by the time you're done, they feel a little bit educated about it. They feel that it's not just, some fancy thing my spa uses. They have, basically you're teaching them, there are 3 cool things about these oils. Only do it in an appropriate way for the client. And you can't go on and on and on. Do not take more than 60 seconds, because now when you're done, now you're quiet and you do your treatment. But they are feeling now, they're able to think through the things that you just shared with them. Now they're going, oh my goodness, this spa is awesome. Number 1, they want to come back to you. Number 2, they're thinking through the benefits of that they're getting as they smell the wintergreen or the spearmint or the deep blue or whatever it is that you're using on them. And then, then you go through the treatment. Then when you get to the end of the treatment and you're all done and they've gotten dressed and you're sending them out, you need to write up what we call, we need to think of a better word. I used to call it a prescription, but we can't call it that. So a list of what I want you to be doing to take care of this at home for yourself. And so basically what you're going to do, and this is what I'm teaching the massage therapist, you're going to write down exactly what essential oil you want them to. Say, I want you to use deep blue, and don't act all weird. Don't act like, if you can, then you can use that. Say, this is what I want you to do. Now, you guys, I want you to practice this out loud. I can't tell you how many times you are going to use this phrase, not because you're manipulating, but because this is how people feel like you can take care of them and like you care about them. You say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. So Can you imagine if I'm working with one of you guys and you're like, okay, I have this thing going on and I haven't been able to, get the result, get the support I'm looking for with the essential oils. Teresa, what would you use? I would say, okay, tell me. I'd ask questions, find out more information. And I'd say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And as soon as I say that, you're going, oh my goodness, she's going to take care of me. Okay. So I tell the massage therapist, say, okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is what I want you to do to take care of this between now and the time that I see you again. And number one, it helps them feel like you are now taking responsibility for part of their health challenge, that you are there to help them. You're a support and you want to be there for them. So you're going to write it down. You're going to say, I want you to use Deep Blue. I want you to use 3 drops, and I want you to do it 3 times a day. I want you to rub it right on your shoulder, and I want you to rub it in until it is absorbed. Okay, so you're not just rub it in and it's a little bit wet. Rub it in until it's absorbed, and I want you to do that 3 times a day. So it might just be 1 oil, it might be 4 oils, it might be 5 oils, whatever it is that you are feeling like would be best for them. So you write this up, just like when someone goes to a doctor, what do? The doctor doesn't go, here, use this, or this would be a good thing for you to get. The doctor says, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get this. I want you to use this much. They say 3 things. I want you to use it this often. I want you to use this much. And I want you to, and any other, what's the 3rd thing? I want you to, this is how much, like how many drops, how often, and where to apply it. Where to apply it. You've got to give those 3 things, and then any other instructions. Eat it with food. Make sure you do this, whatever. That's what the doctors do when we leave, and we feel like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. So you're going to write this up for them, hand it to them, and walk them out. And then you're going to, you're helping them. And then you turn them over to the person at the reception desk or whatever. Say, okay, I've given her list of the things that I want her to do between today and when I see her again. And so she's got her list here. And then they look at their client and say, so Jennifer, Karen is going to help you. And she'll help you get like whatever discounts we have, that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, the client feels so cared about. Now, sometimes does the client leave without getting it? Yeah, sometimes they do. That's totally okay. It doesn't matter. We want to do what's best for them and whatever they want. Here, Roger's taking care of Lucas. So let me go in this other room where it's not quite so noisy. Why is it that when a baby cries, it's cute? Seems like it should be worrisome, but it's cute to me. Okay, so that's what you're going to do with the massage therapist. But guess what? That's exactly what you're going to do with the estheticians. Just the wording is going to change based on the health challenges they'll be dealing with or the worries or concerns that the client will have. And you do the same thing with, depending on whoever you're working with, because we've got massage therapists, we've got Reiki artists, we've got estheticians, whatever group they have. And then the other group that you're going to be working with are the people who are receptionists, or they man the store. They're the ones who kind of do the cash register, whatever. We want to treat them special too. It can't just be that, we act like, well, they're just at the cash register. No, because that's Karen. If I'm the massage therapist, I just brought Jennifer out to Karen. Now, I just brought Jennifer out to Karen. Karen is the receptionist, or she's the one at the cash register at the store for the spa or whatever. So when I turn Jennifer over to Karen better know what to do. So we need to make sure we treat them special and have our own class just for them. Okay, so now, one thing I would recommend, you do not go in and work with Karen when she's working. Sometimes the spa will try to set it up so that you are, like they'll say, well, we don't have very many patients in there, so just work with her and then you can take breaks when people come in. No. Say, I really need to train her. We can do it in a half hour, but I need to train her when it's uninterrupted and I can show her what to do, because I can tell you right now, your sales will go up if you let me train her and show her what to do. So let me read some of these. This is so helpful. Oh, good. Thank you. Josie's saying it's like you've read my mind. After 4 years, I finally figured out my target market in business and as a therapeutic esthetician. Awesome. Okay, that makes me happy. Good. Okay, if you guys have questions about this, go ahead and ask them now, because I'm getting close to the end now. So All the different specialists are going to be about the same, except of course you change the health challenges that they're dealing with, right? And everybody learns to take their person out to Karen or out to the desk and turn them over to the desk person, because the massage therapist needs to not be the one who is selling. You've just taken care of your client. Now you bring them out, and now Karen will take care of you. And guess what? It maintains the credibility and the professionality, I don't even know if that's a word, professionality of the entire spa. And it helps the person feel like there is an organized manner, there's an organized order to this. And I am getting taken care of, and each person knows the role that they play for me. So now you take them out to Karen. When I'm training Karen, I'm going to teach Karen what I've done with the massage therapists and everyone else. Okay, the estheticians, the Reiki artists, whatever. Because Karen needs to know that was the conversation that they had in there. And when I'm teaching the massage therapists and everybody else, then guess what happens? I'm telling the massage therapist that I'm going to make sure Karen knows exactly what they're doing. So they better do it. Because when they take their client out to Karen, Karen is going to respond to them as if you've already said all this stuff. So Jennifer better know all the stuff already. She already knows. So now, remember, Karen and the people at the reception desks or whatever, they've also been through Essential Oils 101, and that's awesome. So they know about the oils, and now Karen is handed a list. Jennifer gives the list to Karen, and Karen gets out from behind her desk, and if the oils are right behind her and she's at a stand-up desk, that's okay, but you're standing up. You're acting like, hey, it's not an inconvenience for me to help you. If you stay sitting at your desk, it feels like, okay, how can I hurry up and help you and get back to what I was doing? You stand up, teach everybody how to help the client feel totally special. Like, I'm just going to give you my one-on-one time. Now, I'm going to teach them so I'll teach Karen how to take the protocol and say, okay, so we've got deep blue, and she helps her get out the deep blue. And we've got wintergreen, and I can see that she's wanting you to work with this digestive blend. And you're going to love this one. So you can see why it's so important that we get these people to fall in love with the oils and use them in their own homes. Because if they're using them in their own homes, this is when Karen's going to say, oh my goodness, the digestive one is unbelievable. I use it with my little boy, and you would not believe. You know what I mean? That's what's going to be happening there. So I'm not sure how to say her name, I think it's Mao. How to deal with the employees of the spa who don't like the oils, as they say they get headaches. That is a good question. I'll address that in a second. Usually there's always one or two in each spa who complain of headaches. You're totally right. And I'm laughing, but that's not very nice, because sometimes it does give people headaches. And I will tell you this, there is a big debate. In fact, I wrote a big paper about this because it was such an issue. And I'll get back to headaches in just a second. I'll finish out the receptionist person. So then, and I'm sorry for laughing. I'll explain why in just a minute. Okay, so the receptionist is going to help pick out everything, and then at the end they can ring it up. But now is where it's really important that you teach the receptionist or the person behind the cash register, teach them. Now there are a couple different ways you can get the oils, and so I tell them this is good for you to know, because this is true for you as well. As you're practicing and trying the oils, you can buy them retail, and they can buy them from here retail. Now, let me back up and say, it depends on how the spa acted. Because if the spa had wanted nothing to do with network marketing, then you cannot bring this part up, okay? And you can't bring up how they can buy their own oils on their own account. Although I will back up for just a second and say this. When the spa director acts like we don't want anything to do with that, I say, okay, yeah, not a problem. We have a lot of spas we work with who want to do it that way. But somehow I usually find a way, without it feeling pushy, to, I'll say, yeah, we'll totally do that. But then, and I don't bring it up now, but later when I'm telling the spa director, before we've trained the staff, when I say, we're going to train your staff, we're going to teach them this and this, we're going to do this with the clients. At that point, which is way later, I'm going to say, at that point, when we teach your receptionist and the people in the front how to handle, the people wanting to purchase these oils, this is what we often see. So we'll work with you, do it however you want, but what we often see is that people are wanting to buy it again and again. And you want them to keep buying from your spa. So if it gets to that point, you might want, and I don't hem and haw like I am right now. I just say it. I say it really blunt and really clear and really simple. I don't go on about it at all. I just say, when you have clients who are wanting to repurchase, we're going to need to talk about possibly setting them up with their own account where you don't have to deal with it. They get it for cheaper and you actually make more. So, and it's kind of recurring because you don't want them to go to someone else where they can get it for cheaper. So we won't worry about that. We'll just move forward like this. But as you have people who are wanting to reorder, I'm going to show you how to help them set up their own account where you still get all the commissions. So do you see how I say that? And then I completely move away from that. Okay? And if you say it right and you're not acting insecure or unsure of yourself, if you say it all confident, I never have people ask, well, is that network marketing? I just don't have them ask that. At the beginning, they might say, are these oils network marketing? I say, yes, they are. But when we work with spas, we can set it up so that you aren't dealing with any of that. We just set up a business account. And guess how I set it up so they're not dealing with any of that? I just make sure they're either on my front line or on the front line of someone I can completely trust, the upline, to not talk to them or bother them and just take care of them. And nobody goes to them trying to get them to do network marketing. Nobody's going to bother them. You think when I signed up MGM Grand, do you think I'm going to go put them under 6 levels deep under people that I'm not sure whether or not those people are going to go contact them and be all excited that they can see MGM Grand down below them and they think they can go contact them? No, I made them a commitment. So I made sure it was set up a very specific way. Okay. So let's see. I want to make sure I finish what I was talking about. So so what happens is when the receptionist is talking to them, if they don't have the option of talking about setting up their own account, you can say there are a couple of different ways we can do this. First of all, you can buy it retail off the shelf, or we can set it up so that you can get our discount for people who order regularly. And by the way, the spa can set their own thing up where you can order regularly. Maybe retail is $20 for that oil. So the spa is going to sell it for, like the wholesale price. What would $20 be? It would be like 15. Is that right? I'm a little bit off, I think. But let's do this because then I'll get the numbers right. Let's say it's $100 oil. And the spa is going to, 25% off would be $75. And that's what they would be able to buy it for if they had their own dōTERRA account. But they don't. And the spa maybe doesn't want to do that. So the spa could sell it for $75 at wholesale, but they probably don't want to because they want to make more money. So the spa can say it's $100, but you know what? If you sign up for our regular program that we, the spa, have set up, not dōTERRA, but the spa set up, then you get to get it for $90 or you get to get it for $80. So the spa is still making money, but they can help the client feel like they're getting a discount. You can imagine there are 100 different ways we can do this, okay? Holly's saying if they choose to just sell retail, are their clients ordering the products or are they stocking the products there? You always want to stock at least a certain number of products there. Listen to last week's Facebook Live because I talked about the back bar and the store and how you need to have a certain number in there on the shelf so that it looks like you actually carry that item. So I talk a little bit more about that there. And so now you can see how, depending on how the spa wants to run this, you've got to make sure the receptionist or the person behind the cash register or the person in the store totally can handle this in a way. They've got to know exactly what the options are so that they can give the client these options. We can do it one of 2 ways, or there are 3 different ways we can do this. And so sometimes the client will say, well, I just want to try Deep Blue. I just want to try it first. And then, so we've got to make sure that person at the desk is trained to say, perfect. Okay, that's great. Whatever the client wants is perfect. So they say, yeah, that sounds great. And then as you use this, if you find that you are loving it and you want to get some more, then when we order you more, we're going to make sure that you get the cheapest discount. In fact, you can get it wholesale, but we're going to help you get it lower than wholesale. Which, by the way, lower than wholesale, you guys, is if you set up an account and you are doing your LRP every month, right? So that's only, of course, if the spa is okay with that, if that's what they want. Holly's saying we get some backlash doing that because then our local dōTERRA customers know they can go in and purchase products from those areas instead of on their account. That's true, but that's also why you want to make sure, like the spas, I've never worked with a spa that will sell it at wholesale, ever. They always want to sell higher than wholesale. And so I can't even imagine. Maybe Holly, respond more and tell why they're doing, like, are they selling it at wholesale? Because if the spa is not selling it as low as wholesale, then even if they are selling it at wholesale, you guys, you are helping people when they get up on your team, they're getting it for lower than wholesale. So if that's a problem for you, then you don't know the wording. You could work on the wording for your class. Because if you can teach a class and you use the right wording, they're not going to want to go anywhere else except with you. So, and Holly's saying, yes, sometimes they do it at wholesale. Okay, and now legally, they are not, they're not legally allowed to do it less. They have to be 10% above wholesale. They have to. I think that's required. I better go check that out and make sure, because just in case they've changed anything or whatever. But I think they have to be 10% above wholesale if they're reselling. And so, which makes it easier for us anyway, which is why dōTERRA set that rule. And second of all, even if they were wholesale, the wording at the class changes everything. Because even if you talk with someone and you're not at a class and they're going, well, yeah, but I can just go buy it at that spa and they sell it for wholesale. You say, oh, yeah, they totally sell it for wholesale. But you know that you can get it for less than wholesale. Like, you can get it way cheaper than that. And so then they're like, what? And then you can help them, okay? Holly's saying, great. It's good to have that confirmed. Okay, good, yeah. Thanks. So, but again, that's something I better double check. I know on selling it online, you have to go even higher than 10% different. It's way more than that. So, because they're trying to protect us. Okay, so that's good to know. Now, let me refer to the headache issue, and then I've got to go, because I think it's time for my other Facebook Live on our other group. And those of you who are not members of that group, it's where I teach people how to build online, how to get leads and enrollments online. So if you haven't seen that one or heard of it, go check that one out. It's called Marketing Game Changers with Teresa Harding. So I always do a Facebook Live here unless I'm traveling, and then I do one right after this on that group. So let's see, headaches. Okay, so why do people have headaches when they smell essential oils? And the reason I laughed when I heard that is because every once in a while you get somebody who, it doesn't matter what you talk to them about health, there's always something wrong with it, always. You don't get those super often, but you do get those. But then there are the people, so that's why I laugh, because you are going to always have somebody. And guess what? If they're not interested, that's okay. They don't have to love it. And if the spa is incorporating it, then they either, the spa can deal with that, but the way I work with it in the spa, first I'll tell you how I deal with it, and then I'll tell you the reality behind the story, okay? Why they're getting a headache if it's a real thing, which you don't get to decide whether it's a real thing anyway, because if they say they get a headache, you got to treat it like they do. So, which some people do. So, when like, let's say they're having a problem, they're saying, hey, these two girls say that they're getting headaches from the oils. I say, okay, let's do this. Let's have them, are they from a couple of them or one or something like that? And I'll ask a lot of questions, because if I don't ask any questions and then I start trying to give the solution, does that feel very credible? No. You start asking questions. Okay, tell me about it. Okay, let me talk to her and let me find out. They might say, you know what? I'm allergic to this or I'm allergic to that. Everything always bothers me. Okay, so let me tell you what happened with my mother-in-law. And I'm telling you guys this, and then I'll tell you how I handle it with them and how I tell them the story. My mother-in-law, she and I are really close. She's passed away now, and I really miss her. But she's one of my best friends. And when I started doing the essential oils, she's a pharmacist. And the essential oils gave her headaches. Like, it seriously made her sick. The dōTERRA essential oils. And she didn't believe in them, but because she supported me and loved me, she bought some oils, and just to be supportive. She's so sweet. And so she had those oils, tried to use them, but they gave her headaches. And so let me tell you what the research shows. And I've been able to discuss this with some of the top scientists in the field, some who work with dōTERRA, some who do not, who are totally third party, okay? And this is what the research shows, that the essential oils, they do help your cells release toxins. And so as those toxins are released, it can be so taxing on the body that can give you a headache. For most people, they use the oils, the toxins are released, it flushes out of your system, and then we're good. Well, if number one, maybe somebody who's never used oils before and uses a lot all at once and their body isn't used to it, and all of a sudden all this toxin release is happening, then number one, I tell people you better be drinking a ton of water. And I tell them how much to be drinking. And anybody who's kind of having that experience, I tell them, what I want you to do is I ask all the questions first, and I say what we're going to do is we're going to go down to 1 drop. And I explain about the toxin release. And I say, so what we don't want to stop that toxin release because that's good. We want to get the toxins out, but it doesn't need to be miserable. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 1 drop of 1 oil each day. Even if you're not using them on the clients, if you need to take time before you can start doing that. What we're going to do is use 1 drop. And we're only going to use 1 drop until it gets to the point where that's not bothering you. And then when it's not bothering you, then we're going to add, when it's not bothering you for a couple of days, then we're going to add another drop of whatever oil you want. Okay? And if there's only 1 oil that's bothering them, we'll eliminate that oil, use the other ones. And there is a lot of debate in the essential oil industry. For those of you who've seen, there are people who say, oh, that's a bunch of baloney. It's not toxin release. That's just people freaking out and wanting to act like you can use essential oils. This is the deal. If you are using truly pure essential oils, it is a toxin release. And at the beginning, when I would question that all the time, I would go to Dr. Hill. I got to work with some of the top people who would work with me. I would work with their doctor, and we would walk through the process and try to figure it out, because I thought, well, maybe for this situation, it's not. And basically what would happen is, like, for example, we had people, not very many, I think 2 ever, maybe 3 people ever who used the skincare, dōTERRA skincare, and broke out. It's because what's happening is that toxin release is happening so much that the body can't handle it. And these are the different responses the body will have. Someone will experience a headache, a stomach ache. They'll have something like it'll exhibit itself on the outside of the skin, like redness or irritation or pimples or whatever. And so when that happened, at the beginning, I would always luckily get to work with Dr. Hill or whatever. And doctors would ask them all the right questions, find out what their medical history was, and then they would tell them that basically that is what's happening. It's a toxin release. So what I want you to do is pull back, use very, very little, almost none. And little by little, they would use it until they'd have enough of that flushed out of their body that now they can use it just fine. And that has happened every single time. Now, if there are certain oils that somebody feels like they can't use, guess what? Guess who's always right? They are. So make sure you never have them feeling like you think they're dumb, or like you don't believe them, or like that. I've never seen that before. Don't ever do that, you guys. Are we here to help people or not? Also, dehydration, Matt is saying, drink with the oil. Yes, thank you. Because those oils are potent, you guys. A lot of you have seen that the testing that was done with the peppermint oil. 1 drop of our peppermint oil is the equivalent to drinking 28 cups of peppermint tea. You guys, if peppermint tea is good for you and you drink 28 cups, what do you think the kind of response you're going to have if your body is not used to that? These are amazing. They're potent. So treat them like that, treat them with respect, and treat people's responses with respect. Help them get to a place where they feel better. But at the same time, you'll get somebody who either for some reason they can never resolve it, or they just everything bothers them. And that's fine. They can, that's their experience. But I will say this, and this is going to sound sassy, and I don't mean it to sound sassy for those of you who really have this real, situation or whatever, but every single person I have ever worked with who had any kind of some negative response, we've totally resolved it by doing the 1 drop of oil and then little by little working our way up. Except there have probably been a handful of people who have a ton of health challenges, and they won't try anything, and everything that anyone ever suggests, they act like it's bad, and oh yeah, I've tried that, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, I've tried that, it doesn't work. They say that about everything, and they just kind of have that attitude, and that's fine, because guess what? That's their choice too. But those are the only people I've ever seen who have not been able to slowly build up the ability to use it. Now, I have had a few people who they're sensitive to certain essential oils, that's totally fine. There are 20 different oils that you could use for almost every health challenge that absolutely work awesome. So Brenda said, thank you. I haven't had an answer for the headaches. Yeah, Shelly, thanks so much for this explanation. Good. And I will tell you, if you start explaining that to people, you will get some people who will say, I've checked and that's not true. Actually, people kept saying that back and forth. Yes, it is true. No, it isn't. Well, you know what? And of course, I mean, I'm not documenting this for you, but I am telling you, I have been able to work with some of the top scientists, and this is what they tell me. And by the way, I ask the same question of different scientists to see if I get the same answer, and I do. These are scientists who don't know each other, who have different agendas, and the question I ask is, can you be allergic to the essential oils? And they say, no, you cannot be if they're truly pure, and dōTERRAs are. And this is, they tell me, dōTERRAs are, even third-party scientists. You cannot be allergic to essential oils. There's something else that your body is sensitive to that's either maybe a domino effect or something. So usually if we can start supporting the health challenges that they have and start eliminating some of those one at a time, or supporting those one at a time, then what happens is some of those other things start to become a non-challenge after a while. So just try that out. But again, respect people and their feelings and what they feel is their experience for their body, because they're the ones who know. We don't. Matt Smith says, you cannot be allergic. There are no proteins. Yeah, that's one of the things that they've talked about with me. And so it's really interesting because I still have had people who desperately want to use the oils. And like one girl, and this is very rare, but one girl, she couldn't use orange, wild orange. There was something that kept bothering her. And we had not figured that out, and I've lost touch with her, so I don't know but what has happened since then. But other people who truly cannot use a certain oil, that it really bothers them somehow, over time, we overcome that challenge, and it ends up being fine. So just remember some of those things. Hopefully that helps you guys. I don't have the answers for everything, but hopefully these are things that'll help, that will move you along in your step-by-step process toward working with the spas. And we are going to have Roger come on here and do a series for dentists, because I want you to see that there are a lot of similarities between spas and chiropractic offices and dentist offices and all the different professional places that you could incorporate essential oils into. But there are some differences. But you guys could use the information I've given you on spas and start approaching some of these other places as well. But you guys, don't be annoying. Don't be annoying. Remember, if you're not adding value, you better be making their life 10 times easier. Because if you're not, they're not interested. So you guys, thanks for joining me. You guys are awesome. And Francois says medical offices. Yes. So you guys, start working on those. But remember, you better be adding value. These guys are busy. They don't have time for you unless you make it so powerful for them that they want to take time. And I'll end with this last thing. I can't tell you how many times I have gotten in the door. I do the gatekeeper thing that I taught you. I get past the gatekeeper. I have a meeting with the person because they like the way that I honor their time and all the stuff. And I say, you tell me how much time you have. This is when I set the appointment. And they might say, well, I probably just have like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can totally do it. And I absolutely honor that. I absolutely respect that. So, because I know your time is important. So when I come, if they said 5 or 10 minutes, guess how many minutes I'm taking? 5. And I better do that presentation in 5 minutes. I'm not pulling out the PowerPoint at that point. Maybe I will have the one screen up that shows the picture of that I use to explain the quality of the oils. That's it. And that's the only thing, because if you have 10 minutes with someone, 5 minutes better be about the quality of the oils, and the other 5 minutes can be about everything else. They better know that these oils are better than anything else. But I can't even tell you, probably 50% of the time or more, I have people tell me I only have 10 minutes when I set the appointment, because I can tell the only reason they're giving me an appointment is because they liked me, I was respectful, and they could tell, you know what, maybe this person is worth meeting with. So when I go meet with them, I'm taking 10 minutes. And if that's what they said, then 10 minutes is up. And this is what I say. I say, I know our 10 minutes is up. So, and I want to respect your time. So let me leave these oils with you. Let me whatever, and I let them know I am ending right now. I don't say it that way, but I am ending. And then almost always, in fact, I can't think of one time that somebody did not say this to me. That after 10 minutes, and I say, okay, so I know you just had 10 minutes, so I don't want to take any more of your time. Thanks for meeting with me. I'm going to leave these oils with you, and I'm going to, whatever. And I am out of there. Then every time, this is what they say. They say, well, you know what? My people aren't here yet, so I actually have a little bit more time. I say, okay, you tell me how much time. They say, well, I have till 9:30, which gives me a full half hour by the time we're done. I am telling you, if you do it the way that I teach you, they love you and they know you're going to help them and they give you more time. So I'll say, okay. And guess what? They gave me extra time because they saw that I finished when I said I was going to finish. I wasn't going to try to force them to stay longer. And just one more thing. Before you go, let me tell you this. No, you stop in the middle if you have to. But you better get really good at knowing how, like when you end, it's the stuff where they're going, ooh, I want to try those. Okay. So you guys have a great time. Totally hope that this helps and would love to hear feedback and stories about what you're doing, how you've implemented some of this stuff, and how it has helped with your business. Okay, so I will see you guys. Well, next week I'll be traveling. So depending on the time change, I'm going to be in Europe. So someone will be on here, but it may not be me, depending on where I am and what time it is. Okay, so love you guys. Have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.